football. It's Tuesday. We're all here. Sean O'Hara joining us until
top of the morning.
Training camp live kicks off. We'll talk Jets and Giants. We have a couple wide receivers getting a little feisty.
Yeah, I heard that.
They're in training camp. The
Meow.
Patriots
Speaking of cat fights.
and the Lions have practices. Maybe we'll see some Darius Slay action on those receivers. So we'll get to all of that as Will Selva takes over with the news. Will, please take it away.
All right, thank you, Kay, fellas. Appreciate that. Well, we've been hearing about it for some time, but we're all going to get our first opportunity to see Cam Newton's new throwing motion when the Panthers face the Bears on Thursday night. It's likely not going to be for very long, probably a series. Either way, head coach Ron Rivera emphasizing the team has a very specific plan in place for Cam. Newton had an arthroscopic procedure on his throwing shoulder earlier this offseason, his second surgery on the same shoulder in the last 2 years. Rivera says all 4 QBs on the roster should see the field, including Kyle Allen, Will Grier, and Taylor Heineke. Now, our guy Kyle could be extinguishing another flame in the GMFB holdout shrine sooner than we think. Jadeveon Clowney not expected on the field until after the Texans' third preseason game. This, according to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport. Clowney will play under his franchise tag in 2019 and would become an unrestricted free agent this offseason. Rap Sheet also reporting the Cardinals worked out Michael Crabtree on Monday, but the club has no plans on signing the veteran receiver at this time. Would be something if he did, though, right? We'll be deprived, though, of seeing him and 49ers corner Richard Sherman going up against each other twice this year. Crabtree was released by the Ravens back in February. Hey, what's up, fellas? Tom Brady reuniting with one of his former targets, Danny Amendola, at Patriots and Lions joint practice. Head coach Bill Belichick talking about what it's like facing his former defensive coordinator Matt Patricia and his Lions team. He says it's good for everybody.
It gives us a great opportunity to start to begin the process of seeing an opponent, recognizing the adjustments we need to make, making those adjustments quickly, both as coaching staff and as players and in each unit. So this is it's a great opportunity, and especially with Matt and his staff and how well I feel like we can work with them. Certainly it's gone very smooth up to this point. I expect it to continue.
The Patriots in Allen Park, Michigan, and P. Schrags. Last year, the Patriots were 3-5 on the road, with one of those losses coming against Matt Patricia's Lions, coincidentally.
When it mattered most, they went right into Arrowhead and they won that game, and they went down to Atlanta and won that game. But if that's what gets them going and motivated, all the power to them. You got to do it. Will, thank you so much. Yep. We'll be joined by you later. We are now joined by one of the most reliable tight ends in all of football. Yeah. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler, a Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year finalist, and he has started every single game for his team each of the past 4 seasons.
Whoa.
Let's welcome to the show, friend of the show, Vikings tight end Kyle Rudolph.
Oh, yeah! He's already smiling.
Thanks for having me.
What's up?
Kyle, you look great as always, and here we go. We're doing great. Year 9 for you. I can't believe it's year 9 for you. It's a second year with Kirk Cousins, another year with Thielen and Diggs on the outside, and now on to your 5th different offense while being with the Vikings. It is now the Kevin Stefanski, Gary Kubiak combo. So, Kyle, few months into this, few weeks into training camp, how does that Vikings offense look, and how are you taking to it? Or should we be excited about this unit in 2019?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of excitement around our offense, and the thing that I'm most excited about is the way this group of guys go out and work every day. One of the things that Coach Stefanski and Coach Kubiak challenged us to do the first day of training camp was not worry about where will this offense be come the first week of September, where will we be in December, but going out each day and just working. And one of the nice things that we have here in Minnesota is a great barometer going against our defense. We get to practice against one of the best defenses in football each and every day, and when we have success against those guys, we can gain confidence knowing that we can go out and play against anybody.
Well, Kyle, I'm excited about Kirk Cousins. It's no secret he is my favorite guy in the league, and he's been talking a lot during training camp. First, he said that rookie center Garrett Bradbury had a really sweaty butt that was causing problems, which killed. But then he also had some interesting things to say about you, my friend, and the passes targeted to you last year. Take a listen to this.
I think Kyle Rudolph I could have been a lot better with last year. He had a good year, but I think I could have given him more opportunities, and I see it in training camp now that I got to be more aggressive to him. That's a chemistry thing that takes time.
So what do you think when you hear that? He's saying it's not you, it's me. I need to be better to get Kyle going. Is there any truth to that?
Well, I think, and he's mentioned it in his quote in the second part there about a chemistry thing. And Kirk's never played with a tight end of the body type that I have. And, Kirk's played with smaller guys that are quicker than I am, run routes differently. And, we didn't really have an offseason together last year. I was coming off ankle surgery, spent most of the spring rehabbing. And now we've had a full season together, a full offseason. And it's just being on the same page. He knows that I can make catches that maybe some of the other guys he hadn't played with in the past could. And also that, I have more vertical separation than maybe he's used to having.
You're on my list for tight ends. I'm revealing tight end rankings for fantasy, and just hearing that from him and knowing what you can do in the past, you are definitely among the elite tight ends in our league. We mentioned Kirk Cousins. This show has not talked about Kirk Cousins without showing the dead arm dance since last season. Pretty much every time we bring him up, and it's the ultimate dad move. I'm sure we'll see it here in a minute. Other than what we saw and what we hear it is, what we see in the end zone and on camera, I need you to top this for me, Kyle. What is the most dad thing you have ever seen Kirk Cousins do?
I think, to me, it's a combination of his conversion van and not just driving a conversion van, but then a guy that signed over $100-something million in guaranteed contracts has also got advertising on his conversion van.
It was like a fathead?
That's one of my favorite. Yeah, the either fatheads or magnet decals that you can put on the side of your car.
Yeah.
He did a marketing deal with his van, and so now it has advertising on it.
Does he have a bumper sticker, Kyle?
It's not even a bumper sticker. It's like the whole side of his car says, whatever the company is that paid him some money to put a logo on his van.
See, I picture him with Baby on board and with the Garfield with the suction cups and all that stuff.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Calvin and Hobbes with a Packers logo. That's the best.
My biggest takeaway so far, Kirk Cousins lives in a van.
Yeah, got it. Shade for the baby, of course. A lot of cup holders, Case Logic CD thing on the rear view. Oh, it's great.
Kirk Cousins lives in a van down by the river, but it's wrapped. It's wrapped in decals.
It really does.
Kyle, it's a passing league.
All right,
everybody's talking about tight ends. You know the drill. It's a passing league, all right? But I want to talk about your blocking. You don't get enough credit for how good of a blocker you are at the line of scrimmage. Obviously, this offense, we heard Mike Zimmer talk last year about we need to run the football. Kevin Stefanski, he wants to run the football. You guys have reworked the offensive line. I want to talk about the identity of this offense this season and what Garrett Bradbury, your first-round pick, is bringing to the table.
For us, it's no secret. We've said it all offseason that although you look at our roster and you think we've got two of the best wide receivers in football, we've got a great quarterback, it's got to be about the pass game. And that's not the case with our offense. If you go back to 2017 when we were a top 10 offense, we had a top 10 rushing offense as well. And that's our identity. Garrett's come in here as a rookie and done an unbelievable job, worked extremely hard to learn the system. To be accountable and making calls as the center is not easy, and he's done a really, really good job with that. But then you look at the other guys across the front, Riley Reif, Pat Elflein moving over to guard. We brought in Josh Klein from the Titans, and then you got Brian O'Neill over on the right side. We got a couple guys that can move around and play a bunch of other positions as well. So keeping those guys together, and as you know, having continuity on the offensive line is extremely important. So it starts with those guys up front, and they are the identity of our offense.
And you're a huge part of that. We are so happy to see you with the Vikings. I know Schrager was saying it's your fifth offense. We are wishing you nothing but luck to make some waves up there in the NFC North. Thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for being one of our best friends here on the show throughout the years, Kyle.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. It's always good to be on.
Love Kyle Rudolph there up in Minnesota. Of course, training camps going on all across the country. You're 2 days away from preseason action on NFL Network. It's the Cardinals and the Chargers. And then...
Yeah, look at those two.
Yep. We'll have the Jets and the Giants. And then we also will take a look at what Bill Belichick and Matty P have going on up in Allen Park. The Lions and Patriots practicing together. And we'll be live with the Steelers and the